Hi Jamie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Do you remember what kind of music you listened to growing up?
Yes, I do. Yeah, very clearly, because I still listen to it today. So, the main bands that I listened to were the Smiths, the House Martins, and the Jackson 5. Those three bands in particular, for some reason. So I then carried on listening to Michael Jackson as I grew up. You know, listening to Thriller and Bad and Dangerous and all those things. And then with the Smiths and Morrissey, I listened to a lot of Morrissey. I was a big Morrissey fan. And the band the House Martins, I don't think they were big over here, I don't know, but he went on to be in a band called The Beautiful South in the UK, and now he's a guy called Paul Heaton, and he writes, it's him and a woman called Jackie Abbott, and they still make great records. So.
Do you think that has influenced your music?
Yes, I do. The reason, even though I don't think I sound like any of those people really, but they had this brilliant sense of melody, beautiful melodies, and great lyric, great words. You know, even the Jackson 5 stuff sometimes just had brilliant, kind of really sad lyric, but over really happy music, and I really like that combination. So I definitely think that was an influence on what I do and how I do it. Yeah.
Do you remember when you started playing guitar?
Yeah, I do. I was given a guitar for Christmas when I was 8, and I started lessons at primary school, and I didn't really get any better.
You didn't
That's
get
as good
any
as
better?
I got. That's about all I needed. A few chords and to strum, and then you could start writing songs.
What was the first song you wrote?
Oh, it was appalling. It was terrible. It was about misunderstandings.
How old were you when you wrote your first
Probably
song?
about 14. Yeah, I think 14 or 15. I kind of stopped playing so primary school goes up to about 10, 11, then you do secondary school from 11 to like probably 18, I guess, if you do A-levels. So I'd stopped for a few years, so I kind of stopped at about 11 and then started again when I was 14.
Why did you stop?
I don't know. No, I don't know. It was like it didn't happen at this school that I went to, but it did because it found me. So that's when we kind of started playing in a school band and yeah, learning other people's songs.
So what stuff did you write about back then?
Unrequited love. That seemed to be the main subject and was for most of my life. Not these days. These days we're okay. So, yeah.
So what was sort of the point that you knew you wanted to be a musician for a living?
I don't think there was any kind of definite. It was just kind of, this is the thing that makes you most happy, you should keep doing this. And that's kind of how I fell into it as a job, because then I realized you can actually make money doing it. Although I also realized that you can make a living by doing other people's songs, and that's okay. You can do that. Or you can do these songs that you write and you may not make a living. But these songs that you write make you happier, so maybe you should do that. And that's the path I chose. And it took a long time to kind of make any money out of that.
So during the period that you were like writing the first stuff and performing, but not like for the big crowd, did you consider doing something else?
No, not really. I don't know why. Stubbornness, laziness, that I didn't want to do anything else, and just thinking that believing these songs were good enough that if they were heard, that maybe people would like them. And that was the thing that kind of kept me going at it.
So now that you're touring, is the life of a musician what you expected it to be?
I don't know, actually. It's you get a lot less sleep. I thought you might get a lot of sleep because you got lots of time during the day. Do you want us to stop? Can we do?
No,
Hey.
it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know really. I mean, yeah, you get a lot less sleep. That's the main thing. But playing to people night after night is a strange experience and really rewarding, really happy, really soul fulfilling. So I'll take lack of sleep if I get that bit.
So now your album is out.
Yeah.
What was the first song you wrote for the album?
There are a couple songs on there that didn't make the last record. For instance, Don't Say You Don't If You Do was recorded for the last album, but didn't go the way I wanted it to go. I wasn't happy with it, so quite early in the mixing stage of that record, I dropped it. And yeah, didn't think it was right.
What
so I had,
changed then?
We're just kind of getting it to... it felt like quite an old song and not a very cool song when we did it last time on the record. It just didn't sound great. We didn't have a lot, like I had 10 days, 2 weeks to make the last record. That's not a lot of time, so it was quite ambitious to try and make an album with 12 songs on it anyway in 2 weeks. So it just wasn't kind of as good as the others. And you don't really want a weak song on your record, so better to pull it off and have a strong record than, especially when you know, or you think that the song is good and deserves a better chance, a bit more time to get it right, you know. So that's what we had for this record. So, so yeah, I kept it for this album, and I knew that was there, and that was a good starting point. And also Miracle of Love. I've had that song for a little time, and never quite found a way to arrange it in order to make it work on a record. If you do it on the acoustic, it gets quite the same if it's just on its own. So it was the way that we've done it with these kind of weird, gnarly synth pad sounds and strings and stuff. It just sounds really beautiful and delicate and exactly like it's about to fall apart, which is what the song's about.
Your first song on the record, A Little Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Who did you have in mind while writing that song? Was it towards yourself, towards someone else?
It was probably, there's parts of me in it. It was more for people, it's like for when you have a bad day, like a really bad day, and you go into like a darker place and a sadder place. Because in those times, they feel like they last forever. It feels like you're just stuck in them. And a lot of people go through it. And it was a song for people in that situation to say it's okay, it's gonna pass. And I've written songs for that reason before on the last record, but it's not a subject that can have too few songs. You know, it needs repeating. That it's okay, you just hold on, you'll get through it. Because the alternative is not a good one, you know? So I didn't have anyone specific in mind, just more, you know, people that are having hard times, so which I can relate to.
What place were you in then when you wrote it? What sort of
well, when I
mindset?
wrote it, I'm in a good place, you know, which is probably why I can write it. Because I'm in one of the best places I've ever been. I'm doing okay musically. I have an album out, another album out. That's amazing. I got married. Things are good. But in the same way that now that I'm in this place, I can write about my father's passing away, which I have done on this record. His song called "Sing to the River," and I've never been able to sing about that before, because I'm now in this place where I'm a bit more confident or stronger or have some root that makes it okay to do that now.
Was that hard to write about your father?
Yeah, it was. But it was something that I felt I needed to do for some reason. Again, it goes back to we have a lot of issues, men especially, talking about how they feel, and the more people talk about how they feel, the better. So to make these things more open, and for it to be okay, is a good thing. So I'm in a place where I can do that, and that's good, I think.